Reflections on the Good News of Jesus Christ for the third Sunday of Advent, according to the Gospel of John. A man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony, to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to testify to the light. And this is the testimony of John. When the Jews from Jerusalem sent priests and Levites to him to ask him, "Who are you?" he admitted, and did not deny it, but admitted, "I am not the Christ." So they asked him, "Who are you then? Are you Elijah?" And he said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." So they said to him, "Who are you? So we can give an answer to those who sent us. What do you have to say for yourself?" He said, "I am the voice of one crying out in the desert, 'Make straight the way of the Lord,' as Isaiah the prophet said." Some Pharisees were also sent. They asked him, "Why then do you baptize if you are not the Christ or Elijah or the prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water. But there is one among you whom you do not recognize, the one who is coming after me, whose sandal strap I am not worthy to untie." This happened in Bethany, across the Jordan River, where John was baptizing. The good news of the Lord. A few are fine, more become a distraction. Too many are just that, too many. You know what I mean. Messages, be they text or tweet, voicemail or email or old-fashioned mail, with the expectation that you read and reply within the next 2 minutes, and do that perhaps 100 times or more a day. It's a wonder that you get anything else done. But before you give in to the temptation to just delete them all, slow down, take a few deep breaths, and give John the Baptist the chance to speak to you, he who is our messenger of the day. Perhaps he might begin with something like this: "Slow me down, Lord. Ease the pounding of my heart by the quieting of my mind. Steady my hurried pace with a vision of the eternal reach of time. Give me, amid the confusion of the day, the calmness of the everlasting hills. Break the tensions of my nerves and muscles with the soothing music of the singing streams that live in my memory. Help me to know the magical, restoring power of sleep. Teach me the art of taking minute vacations, of slowing down to look at a flower, to chat with a friend, to pat a dog, to read a few lines from a good book. Slow me down, Lord, and inspire me to send my roots deep into the soil of life's enduring values, that I may grow toward the stars of my eternal destiny. That is a prayer which has spoken to a number of people over the years since I first found it, and I share it with you today because it names something essential if we are to allow this Advent time to reveal its rich meaning. Before these few weeks are given over totally to shopping, gifting, and partying, we are called to remember that God also has some gifts for us. But we are likely to miss them unless we first slow down and wait. Wait? Didn't we already talk about this? Yes, we did earlier in Advent. Well, doesn't God know how busy we are? Yes, I'm quite sure that God does know. But just on the chance that it might be worth it, that God is worth it, let's give this a try. For just a few moments, let us wait. But waiting is hard, you say. It goes against the very grain of our culture. From instant replays to instant food, from instant photos to instant news, we are programmed into non-waiting. But the God we seek is not an instant God. And we who refuse to wait also refuse to seek this one who is the God of Isaiah and the God of John the Baptist, the God of Mary, and the God of Jesus. To wait, though, is not to sit rooted and motionless. To choose this God is to be drawn moment by moment through a process of gradually creating an oasis in the desert, of building a road through the mountains. In Advent, God calls us to wait. Okay, but what are we waiting for? Usually, when we wait, it is for something specific. I am waiting for a friend to call. I'm waiting for someone to arrive. I'm waiting for this meeting to be over. I'm waiting for this weekend's game, for next weekend's date, for payday, for classes and papers to be done, for Christmas to come, and with it, a bit of a break from school or work. When we wait, we usually have some specific wish in mind. The great waiting figures of Advent, Zechariah and Elizabeth and John the Baptist, and of course, Joseph and Mary, invite us to wait in a different way. Through their example, they show us how to wait not with specific wishes, but with open-ended hope. Waiting for I don't know what, except that whatever it is, it will be good because it will be from God. It will be God's word spoken to me, God's promise fulfilled a bit more in me. Notice that it will be good because it will be from God. You see, that's all God has to give is goodness. In fact, God has nothing but goodness. As we wait, I invite you to consider this question. What do you want for Christmas this year? Ask children that question, and the accent is on want, with the answer usually something like, I want a new bike, or the latest video game, or jeans in a cool color. But as we get older, the question changes. It is not about wanting some item that might be bought in a store, but something far more precious. We want for the healing of a broken relationship. We want for someone to say, or to say again, I love you. We want the courage to correct something that is wrong, to change a dynamic that is hurting those we care about. to heal the brokenness we or someone we love is experiencing. We want the humility and honesty to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and the generosity to allow the other person to say the same. We want the patience of the prodigal son's father, the faith of the farmer who plants seed on less than promising ground, the hope of the merchant in search of the pearl of great price. We want the trust and faith of Mary that enables her to say yes to God's call to bring his Christ to birth. We want the compassion of Joseph, who continues to love Mary and shield her from the fury of the law when her pregnancy is discovered. We want to be healed of our blindness that will not allow us to see the goodness in another or in ourselves. We want to be healed of our deafness that prevents our listening deeply to the stories of injustice, inequity, and suffering that mark the lives of so many around us. We want to be healed of what cripples us, cobbles us, keeps us from stepping forth in support of those who truly need our support. What we want is not found under the tree on Christmas morning, but in a manger in the cold, quiet, starlit night. What we want is to see the love we take for granted, to discover the love we fail to see, to accept the love that is given us despite ourselves. These are the gifts Jesus waits to give us and hopes that we will give to others. You see, he identifies himself and his mission primarily not as king, judge, or lawgiver, but as comforting and consoling healer, which can provide us with the incentive to go and do likewise. So let the children bring their lists to Santa, and let us bring our lists to God in these days of Advent waiting, so that something new might be born in us, the courage to receive these gifts and the freedom to give them away. No gift wrapping necessary. Thanks for listening.